Greetings, I'm Caffeine Ridge, and I'm back with the Sunday Sampler. This week we're going to be taking a quick look at SENRAN KAGURA Peach Beach Splash. Oh boy. This is developed by Tamsoft and published by XSEED Games and Marvelous USA Inc. And I'm pretty sure that's the only time I'm going to be saying Marvelous in this video. So let's go ahead, drop to the main menu, and I'll be able to... Well, we have some things to talk about. I have right under 5 hours of gameplay on this, so I think I've had enough time to be able to get my first impression. So let's load up and get going. First of all, let's talk about the elephant in the room that I really can't show here all that well. The DLC for this game. Holy shit. This game launched with over $300 of DLC. $307.56 to be exact. Most of it cosmetic, but not all of it. There is some ability to buy power in that batch of DLC, and because of that, it is a little bit tough to recommend this game for multiplayer, which I'll get into why later. But wow, I wanted to just cover that from the offset because there's no real easy way to talk about it and any other portion of this. So let's go into controls. We'll look at settings real quick, then we'll head to the firing range, talk about combat, some of the content of the game, and have some fun. Or try to, at least. So, settings and controls. This game has some of the worst. I'll go to the default controls. Some of the worst, if not, well, I don't think it's really the worst, but because it's Dwarf Fortress, but one of the worst default control methods I've seen. Granted, they have changed it since I originally loaded up the game, because originally jump was bound to A. Let that sink in. It was bound to the A key. But still, look at this. Okay, shoot, it would be used for mouse and keyboard, but switch style is an odd place, reset camera, but then you go down to these card powers, which is your abilities, and they're bound to the arrow keys of all fucking things. Why? Thankfully, this is all rebindable, and I highly suggest rebinding your keys, but that comes to the other portion of this. Let me just reset back to custom, so I have actual controls. You may notice gamepad controls down here, and whenever I've been clicking around gamepad controls, it always shows the gamepad prompts. And for some things, particularly when you get into the dressing room, I'm just sitting here hitting keys over and over again to see if the game does something. It may as well not be in fucking English. I mean, just wow. And that's not even... It's not even the biggest sin of this game, to be honest. Because probably the biggest thing control-wise is just how abysmal the camera is. Granted, I don't have it turned up all the way because I do some DPI boost on my mouse itself. But the camera is just so damn sluggish. Let's just go ahead and head into the firing range to be able to talk about combat. And I'll talk about this in a little bit, because I want to focus on combat. Well, actually, let's go ahead and talk about cards. So, you have individual levels for all of these, which, just say it's a hell of a grind. But, let me go ahead and fire this up. You could use your excess cards that you get from packs, which I'll talk about packs when we go to the shop, to power up your weapons, power up your abilities, and this is essentially, think of it like a CCG deck, where as you play the game, you start off with 3 cards, and as you use them, you draw more cards, and the cooldown on these is how long it takes from drawing it to be able to using it. So the pets are pretty much not quite instant, but very quick. Then you have individual cards that you could use for different abilities. Like this is a heal, this is a barrier ability, this is a bonus to a ability that I'll talk about in a little bit. This is an AoE, this is a laser, and this is a laser. But let me load up here. This is all the cards I have so far. You may notice that there's several of this icon. You can stack these, and also notice durability amount here is 900. Here is 450 from the, I believe that's the second tier of rarity to the, well, second tier to fifth tier. That's a hell of a boost. And you could load up 4 of these into your deck with what I just have right now. It makes some highly unbalanced decks from what I could see already. Never mind the fact that in multiplayer, assuming they get to work, which we'll talk about a little bit later, there's the DLC that also has a bunch of cards that are of the 5-star rarity. It is going to be ridiculous. Do not buy this for multiplayer. As a matter of fact, because it's not just because of the power-ups and all the hilariously imbalanced stuff that's in here, but also the fact that it's all based around card packs. This is the same thing that Battlefront got in trouble with, or I should say Battlefront 2 to be completely exact. It's just, for multiplayer, this is dead to me immediately. Single player, well, let's get into the combat and we'll talk about that. So, there, and we'll just use you. Oh, assuming I can remember how. Oh, come on. That's the problem with this, is that... Okay, here we go. Sorry, it's because it doesn't give me the control prompts. If I don't recall what all the keys are exactly, it's a little fiddly. Well, okay, more than a little. Okay, so here we are on the firing range. I have a Gatling gun, and this is a one weapon or one gun with a melee ability, and that's it for your abilities. Then you have the deck of cards, which my pets just came up. So yeah, let's, first things first is, oh, it actually doesn't show it on the screen, but there's a couple of abilities. Well, I'll just fight off what's attacking me on the firing range. There's the splash ability, or sorry, the soak mechanic, which is interesting. As you take friendly fire, you build up a soak meter, which allows you to eventually, once that fills up, have infinite ammo, which for some of these guns is just absolutely broken. And there's also this strange half-life or half-heart thing where if you hit 50% health, it drops you to a knockdown effect, and then it puts a barrier on you, which you'll see more in combat. But I want to talk more about the movement in this game, because this has a jetpack and a jet boost. Now the thing is that these don't really combo that well, and you may notice low water. It uses the same system or same ammo as my gun, which does slowly regenerate, but look how fucking slow that is. In order to reload, we'll just hold down reload, and you do this very duck walk thing that reloads, and it allows you to use your abilities again. But the thing is that it feels like it punishes you for using the movement abilities, because if you jet forward to try to get the ambush on someone, well, I just used a good chunk of my ammo. It's just an odd system. I'm surprised that those aren't a separate thing or a separate regenerating fuel, like most jetpacks. And, well, since we're talking about taking you out of the fight, and let's talk about melee. Very, very long animations. I mean, and if you whiff, well, you are a setting duck. And all the animations, all the different girls have their own animation and own weapon, but they're all about the same length of duration on that animation, and there's a lot of clunkiness here. There's a lot of frustrating design that this game, if you pardon the turn of phrase, lacks the fluidity that you would expect and really require for a third-person shooter, especially one that wants to be competitive. So, and on top of all that, if the actually using your movement abilities and the melee doesn't take you out of combat enough, then you have a lot of knockdown abilities and a lot of stun abilities in the decks, which is also highly frustrating. And you may notice that I have an aim assist on because there's just no fine aim, or I should say it's hard to keep a bead on someone whenever they're moving around. Even though most of the AI, well, I should say all the AI doesn't use the jet boost. They only use the jetpack occasionally, but still it is unspeakably frustrating. So to have that auto aim is pretty much a requirement. But yeah, lots of stuns, lots of knockdowns, and all the get up from the knockdowns is unspeakably long animations, leaving you a sitting duck. Thankfully, the AI is too stupid to take advantage of it, but once again, the prospect of multiplayer is once again a non-starter. So let's drop, well, I already mentioned the card balance, which is just breathtakingly one-sided into the rare cards, which the fact that, you know, it's watching Battlefront 2 and say, oh, hold my beer, let's do this, or sorry, hold my sake. And there's just so much grind with all the levels. So yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts on combat, at least the ones that I wrote down. So let's just drop back, assuming I can remember what key it is. There we are. And leave the range, and we'll talk a little bit about combat, or a little bit of about the content of the game. Then we'll do a match real quick and head off. I just wanted to really sit down and talk about the combat outside of an actual match, because it feels like I wouldn't be able to focus on it otherwise, because this game frustrates me. So let's just jump into the shop real quick. We'll open up a card pack and show you what that's like. So this is the shop. Thankfully, this is not paid currency. I know it's ridiculous to have to say that, especially in an indie game, or more indie game like this, or AA game, or whatever you want to call this. But the fact that there's over $300 fucking of DLC in this game makes it feel like I have to state that this is currency that you earn in game. So you have cosmetics, you have card packs that you get. You also see these medals, which I exchange for a new card. So the end cards are your power-up cards, by the way. So getting the medals through the story allows you to guarantee that you get a new card, but I'm not sure if that's a limited quantity, or if you eventually get a way to start grinding out the medals, but for now you don't. You change the shopkeeper, your cosmetics, which is used in the dressing room, which we'll talk about later. More cosmetics that you get in the dressing room. More cosmetics. And these slowly unlock as you do story content, which you can see a lot of these are marked new. Is that plugged into what I think? Don't think about it. I'll think about it. But music and stuff that you could have in the settings menu, character art, and I have a couple of those bought so I could see what they were. But let's open up a card pack to see what that entails, and then we'll do some battles. So we have, right now where I'm sitting in the story content, we have 3 different card packs with different focuses. So New Wave, which is one set of characters, that which is another set of characters, and then pet cards. Granted, they're not all pet cards, there are just more of them. And until I got this pack unlocked, I hadn't seen a single pet. So let's just go ahead and get that. We'll purchase that. Use some zenny, which that's what the currency is called. And just uncover all of them. And we get a 4-star card there. And that's it. So I got 1 new card and 9 dupes. So that goes into my stockpile, which is used to level up cards. So these are worth 1s. These are worth 5. I know the top one is 100. So it's probably 25-50 if I recall correctly. But so that's 9 experience. And we'll do 1 for the pet. Just to uncover all those. Oh, I got 2 new cards there. Which I know that one is a new effect. That one isn't, I think. So there we go. I got 8 new cards. Or 8 cards to level up with. So we'll drop out of that. We'll go to the library and look to see what we got. So skill cards. Unfortunately, this takes a while to load up. Like right there was one. Disrupts opponent's reloads and reducing reload speed. Interesting mechanic. But you can see how this can be very frustrating. So destroying barriers, which I've talked about before, but you could stack barriers, so yeah, I'm just flowing through. There's the recover health, which I've leveled up a little bit, and it's 36% of health, and for the team. And once again, if you start stacking those, you could start healing like crazy. There's a lot of team mechanics that a coordinated team would just be unspeakably frustrating with. And I should show the different pets as well, since I've unlocked most of the pets, not all. But you can see these are, regen, a barrier, spray gun, stealth, which whenever you're in combat, you always have a icon over your head. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and fire up a single splash. We have story, which each of the schools, the ninja schools, by the way, all these girls are ninjas. I'm sure that you're shocked by that if you didn't know already. And they're also streaming on YouTube. Doesn't seem very stealthy. Paradise episodes. Anyway, the main story. Each of the schools has a 10 story or 10 mission arc, which some of the missions are very short, but nothing like the Paradise episodes, which is exceptionally short. And they're all, well, I'll just go ahead and see, they're focused on smaller groups. I don't have them all unlocked yet because as I go through the story, it unlocks more and more. But what we're going to do is V-Road Challenge because that's actual full combat. I've done 2 of the cups so far. And as you progress through the cups, you get more and more zenny and you get a better pack. So we'll go ahead and just do the final round of the Honey Cup. And the thing is with the V-Road is that, okay, 4 tournaments with 4 tiers. And you have to win these in a row. Also, you cannot stop. Or sorry, 4 tournaments with 5 tiers, not 4. But if you stop at round 3 and go back, it stops you back to first round. So you have to do 5 battles in a row and win all 5. And that's a bit of a crapshoot because of the AI. Let's just go ahead and load up here. That looks fine. I'm gonna use her. Matter of fact, let's just go level up one of her abilities. Do I have anything that's not leveled up? Matter of fact, let's level her up because I didn't even show you this because this is where things get a little crazy. Matter of fact, yeah, I can with that. Okay, so we won't use all the cards, but okay. Watch her health. So she just gained 20 health. And I'm pretty sure that... Oh, no, it's 5, 10, 50, 100, so I was wrong on that one. I'm pretty sure this carries over to multiplayer. So you can see, once again, level 6, I have literally double the health. That's absurd. So, we'll take her. And yeah, on the default settings, which is pretty much they're pushing you towards the gamepad. Which, yeah. Can you tell I don't like this? I mean, I'm probably, oh, well, I shouldn't say probably. I am going to uninstall this. And this was a review copy, by the way. I got sidetracked on my usual intro. Come on, load up. I just wanted to show the full loading screen. So here we are, 3-minute, 30-second match. And hopefully this doesn't lag all too much because things do get a little crazy. So get the most KOs. And we'll just watch the AI just, kind of just wander off on its own. And you see it already, little bit of lag there. Nothing too bad, I don't think. But fall back and heal up. And there's our first kill. And she's downed, but she could be revived. But if we go into this mode, we can make her rue the day that she ever showed up here. Yep, the modders are absolutely going to love this game. Especially considering the previous game's modding community. Yeah. You can see just the AI isn't really trying to do any strategy whatsoever. They're just kind of going at each other. And they're not trying to revive. They're not trying to do any major strategy. They're just going. So. Oh, she had barrier up. Oh, I got knocked down. I got sent to half health. So I went to my low health status. Oh, a low health or low water. Fall back. The computer doesn't really try to capitalize on this. You can see the splash bonus up in the upper left-hand corner. Okay, so I'm soaked, so I'm now at unlimited ammo. Oh, I got knocked down because I walked right into a melee. And of course the AI isn't trying to do anything. Well, that was fun. I lied. And there's a half health stay, and this is actually kind of close because the AI really just, it's a crapshoot because they just go at each other. So let's heal up. And my sound is broken. This happens occasionally. Oh, there's a case of the long-ass knockdown. So yeah, all my combat sounds are gone. Which is just, once again, another bug that shouldn't be in the release build, you know? This isn't exactly rare. Load up the splat or the sug meter. Come on.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So we won 11-8, but it felt like that was kind of arbitrary, you know? Oh, yeah, it's just so frustrating because the game is a lot clunkier than what you would expect. So let's open these the proper way. And all these weapon cards are useless. So that's a new one. That does accuracy down on opponents. So I got 9 cards. Goody. And some Zenny, which is used in the shop. And that's pretty much the grind. Only difference for the story content is that there's a little bit of a cutscene beforehand. I'm just mildly disappointed by the game because, whenever I first saw it, it looked very Splatoonish, and it's, well, not. I think the biggest disappointment is the fact that that jetpack and boost is built off of the ammo. That and the whole progression system being cards. So, quickly about the dressing room. Let's head there, and that's really it. This is unspeakably clunky to use because it doesn't list the controls whatsoever. Because, once again, it has the gamepad controls. And I could just fire up my PlayStation 4 controller. But, why? So we have Dress Up, which allows me... This is the cosmetics I've unlocked and earned. And so I can put a nice ribbon. But that's clashing with my other ribbon. That's even worse. Oh, that's nice. But some clipping on the hair there. Granted, that isn't her default hair, but there's... hang on, where is it on here? Well, for one, the mascot floats above you. I don't know if I can't even see it. Let's see, what button was that? No, it's not that. I didn't equip it. Let's see. Yeah. Pretty sure that doesn't go there. But the worst one... Oh, well, for one, all the flags are just... Yeah. Pretty sure you're not supposed to impale yourself through the brainstem. At least the fan is, in her hand, but then you get the badges that are just hovering off her boobs. Yeah, like you do. Ugh. Okay, there's the other one. So, yeah. And the fun part was when this released, this was a crashing issue. So, load up into this and it immediately crashed. So. And even now, there's some low FPS, and you could also load up here and squirt her with water because, why the hell not? And there's the diorama, which allows you to pose a bunch of the girls to, make screenshots or, well, once the modders go crazy, and change characters to, well, change characters. And the thing is that you can't, if you go here, you can't put her in that slot. So if I wanted to move a character from one slot to another, I have to equip a different character and then swap the other character. It's just, once again, clunkiness. And it keeps changing the go back button on me as well. Sometimes it's the right mouse button, sometimes it's shift, sometimes it's tab, sometimes it's neither. So yeah, I think we're pretty much done here, though. I think I've ragged on this game enough. Well, I haven't mentioned the multiplayer, mostly because I haven't been able to play it. I've tried it a couple times, and I just never was able to get into a match. And that said, because of the card balance, I'm hesitant to even bother. But there's also reports that there's crashing issues with the multiplayer, there's Some of the DLC, ironically enough, is causing issues with the matchmaking or just crashing altogether. Or just causing low FPS because some of them are extremely high quality or glittery or whatever. It's just, it's hilarious. But you can see, I'll just do co-op survival. I'm not even gonna bother with it because we're pretty much done here. But you can see I can load up my character here into ranked mode. So it's pretty much who's ever paid the DLC price, right? Or just ground down enough, or use cheat engine because there's also that option. Oh, yeah, I'm a little disappointed about this because I was hoping for at least a decent shooter, but this isn't. It just lacks the fluidity, if you find the turn of phrase once again. And it's expensive as hell. It's $39 normally, well, $40, but it's 10% off right now, so it's $35.99. So you got that going for you. And well, I'm just concerned about the community size because the multiplayer is having issues, and even if the balance of the game works out, because of the price of the game and because of all the bugs and everything else, I'm just worried that there's not going to be a community there for the multiplayer if you wanted to buy for the multiplayer, and the AI isn't that great. It's functional, but it does some stupid shit sometimes, and it doesn't use any of the advanced features of the game. It doesn't try to purposely soak its allies to be able to do a lot more massive damage. It's just two groups just smashing into each other. And honestly, if you wanted a booby game, unless your heart is set on a third-person shooter, there's far better out there, even in this series. So I think that has about covered it, and I think I've ragged on this game long enough. So as always, constructive feedback is greatly appreciated, either in the comments below, or if you don't really have anything to say but want to let me know that you've enjoyed or hated this, or I think I should have focused more on actually showing gameplay, because yeah, I'm just down enthused by this game. Then there's the comments and the buttons and everything else down below, and subscribe if you see more of the Sunday Sampler or my other content. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll try not to rag on the next game, but I'm not promising anything. But if you want to see that, well, subscribe, and I'll see you then.